After a couple slow weeks for major PlayStation 4 game releases, it's really heating up tomorrow as we've got 5 new PS4 games dropping tomorrow and some major titles. Some games you guys are probably very aware about, others you guys might not be so aware about, so we'll be covering all of that in today's video, and again, all of these games are dropping tomorrow. So without further ado, let's get right into it, and let's start off with a game that's recently been building a lot of anticipation, and that is Asobo Studio and Focus Home Interactive's A Plague Tale: Innocence. Now, this is an incredibly dark game following the grim tale of young Amika and her little brother Hugo. It's a heart-rending journey through the darkest hours of history, hunted by Inquisition soldiers and surrounded by unstoppable swarms of rats. Amika and Hugo will come to know and trust each other. Yes, they are siblings, but they don't have a strong attachment to one another in the beginning of the game. That's going to develop throughout the game. And as they struggle to survive against overwhelming odds, they will fight to find purpose in a brutal, unforgiving world. The game is set in 1349, and a plague ravages the kingdom of France. Amika and her younger brother Hugo are pursued by the Inquisition through villages devastated by the disease. On their way, they will have to join forces with other children and evade swarms of rats using fire and light, aided only by the link that binds their fates together. They're gonna face untold horrors as they struggle to survive as their adventure begins. The time of innocence ends. The game is giving me some vibes of a super dark, psychological atmospheric game like a Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. That's just a comparison point that I've made. Obviously, from a gameplay standpoint, it's going to be far different. And again, the main character is Amika, a 15-year-old, and she's already a strong woman, independent and physically trained by her father in the art of hunting. She has had little contact with her brother while they were growing up, but soon their bond will be keeping them alive. And of course, her younger brother is Hugo, a frail child of just 5 years afflicted with an unknown disease that has kept him locked in his room for much of his lonely childhood. He has little knowledge of the outside world, but prefers even its dangers to his previous confinement. So I feel like that's a very interesting contrast. A little boy that's been locked away, and even though there's this disaster going on in the outside world, he would rather be there than be confined and locked away. I find that to be a very compelling narrative thread, and of course they are hunted by the Inquisition as war and sickness engulf the 14th century France. The Inquisition pursue the Darun children for unknown reasons, out to capture their younger targets. Lacking the strength to defeat fully grown knights, Amika and Hugo will require guile and stealth to escape. And of course, one of the main villains in the game is the rats. Rats swarm in uninterrupted waves throughout the territory of France, in the plague-ridden villages, countryside, and battlefields. Uncontrollable and voracious mass advances, relentlessly devouring everything in their path. Only the light of the flame seems to slow down a swarming menace. Visually, the game looks great, and while Asobo Studio isn't known for their big-budget titles, given that this is a chance for them to make an incredible first impression, I think there's a lot of pressure on their shoulders, and I'm very excited to see how the game is going to turn out. It is priced at a budget price point of $44.99 digitally, so that's always great. $49.99 if you do want a physical copy. Focus Home Interactive has really been on point with a lot of their recent releases. They usually don't put out blockbuster mega successes. However, generally speaking, their games are pretty good, and A Plague Tale: Innocence is building up to be a very similar release to that. Again, it drops tomorrow. Very excited for that. The other major release that's coming tomorrow, and I would say is probably the bigger game of the two. However, A Plague Tale: Innocence might be lapping it a little bit. Whatever the case may be, Rage 2 is also dropping tomorrow. Of course, this is being done by id Software and Avalanche Studios, published by Bethesda. So if you look at it strictly from a developer and publisher standpoint, Rage 2 is without a doubt the bigger game, but the premise of A Plague Tale has kind of captivated me a little bit more. That's just my personal opinion. But Rage 2 definitely is going to offer something compelling as well. The reviews have been officially posted for the game. We did an in-depth look on that in our last video, so give that a look if you're interested. Getting a little bit of a mixed reception right now. I believe a 73 on OpenCritic, a 76 on Metacritic. However, that score is really fluctuating, and there are a lot of positive things being said. If you're looking for a quality open world first-person shooter with an emphasis on the gameplay, then Rage 2 is definitely going to offer that. However, that's why I say emphasis on the gameplay. It looks like some of the storytelling and character development is flawed, but as far as a quality open world first-person shooter, you're probably going to find that here. The game has you dive headfirst into a dystopian world devoid of society, law, and order. Rage 2 brings together two studio powerhouses in Avalanche Studios, masters of open world insanity with games like Just Cause and Mad Max, and of course they're working with id Software, creators of the first-person shooter, to deliver a carnival of carnage where you can go anywhere, shoot anything, and explode everything. An asteroid has annihilated 80% of the Earth's population, and humanity's numbers are dwindling. Ruthless and bloodthirsty gangs roam the open end, and the tyrannical authorities seek to rule with an iron fist. As Walker, the last ranger of the wasteland and a threat to the power, you have been robbed of your home and left for dead. Now you'll have to rage for justice and freedom. With ludicrous vehicle combat, superpowered first-person mayhem, and an open world full of emergent madness, you will tear across an unforgiving wasteland, battling sadistic gangs, enemies to find the tools and tech needed to crush the oppressive rule of the authority once and for all. The game is obviously going to have a vast open world and incredibly satisfying first-person shooting gameplay, so even if the storytelling and character development aren't top-notch, I think from a gameplay standpoint, it's going to win a lot of people over. So if you do want a character and story-heavy game, A Plague Tale: Innocence will probably be the game for you. If you just want that no-nonsense open-world shooter, Rage 2 is definitely going to be up your alley. Maybe for some of you guys, you will want to wait on a sale, as some of these lower-key Bethesda titles like an Evil Within 2, Wolfenstein 2, even Fallout 76 recently, those games have gone on sale rather quickly, and I wouldn't be all too surprised if Rage 2 is 50% off by mid to the end of the summer. So that's just an analysis from me, a hypothesis from me. But if you are excited for the game, I think there's going to be a lot to like when Rage 2 drops tomorrow. Next up, I do want to give a shout to a couple of games that already have been released on PC but are making the transition to the PlayStation 4. Figment looks to be an awesome game. This released all the way back in 2017 on PC and received pretty well over there, a 77 on Metacritic, a very positive reception on Steam, just based on 157 user reviews. Didn't resonate at a mainstream level or anything like that. But Figment is an action-adventure game that invites you to explore a unique, surreal universe filled with music, humor, and a multi-layered narrative. You join Dusty and his ever-optimistic friend Piper on an adventure through the different sides of the mind, seeking to restore the courage that's been lost. It's got an awesome presentation style, the visuals are great, and the game will have you experience how traditionally hand-painted brush strokes come to life in a world filled with surreal art, colorful illustrations, and charming characters. Experience the unique art styles of the Joyful Freedom Isle, the Radiant Clockwork Tower, and the Ominous Pathways. The game was released at $19.99 on PC, maybe not worth that price point right away, could very well see this being a PlayStation Plus title down the line, or if it goes on sale, maybe it'll be worth it by then, but at a full $20 price point, don't know if it warrants a day one pickup, but definitely a game to keep your eyes on. Next up, for you horror buffs out there, you should definitely have your eyes on Darkwood, another game that released back in 2017 on PC and received incredibly strongly over there. Its Steam reception is great, 3,732 reviews and 94% positive. That's very positive, and if it just got 1% more positive reviews, that would be an overwhelmingly positive reception. And whenever a Steam game has overwhelmingly positive, you know that it's a great game, at least in the eyes of the gamer. The recent reviews of 52 user reviews actually have it at 96% positive, so that's something to note. And Darkwood is touted as a new perspective on survival horror. Scavenge and explore a rich, ever-changing free-roam world by day, then hunker down in your hideout and pray for the morning light. The game is touted as survival horror from a top-down perspective that is terrifying to play, no hand-holding or quest markers, test your skills and figure things out on your own. By day, explore the randomly generated ever-sinister world, scavenge for materials, craft weapons, and discover new secrets. By night, find shelter, barricades, set up traps, and hide or defend yourself from the horrors that lurk in the dark. Gain skills and perks by extracting its strange essence from the mutated fauna and flora and injecting it into your bloodstream. Watch out for unexpected consequences. Make decisions that impact the world of Darkwood, its inhabitants, and the story you experience. Meet eerie characters, learn their stories, and decide their fate, and remember, don't trust anyone. Darkwood was received pretty well on Metacritic as well, having an 80, so this is definitely a game to keep an eye on, especially if you're a fan of horror titles. $14.99, a little bit less price, but another game I could see going on sale pretty quickly, so if you want to wait for a little bit, by all means do that, but definitely add it to your wishlist and don't forget about this one. And lastly, here's one that I'm really excited for, Sniper Elite V2 Remastered. Yes, Sniper Elite V2 is making the transition to the PS4 from the PlayStation 3 version, and I know a lot of you guys aren't super into the Sniper Elite titles. We've had a couple of Sniper Elite games at this point, and this single-player sniper-based experience I thought would resonate at a mainstream level a lot more so than it has, and they are quality games, and I would say that Sniper Elite V2, you can make a legitimate argument that it's the best in the series, and now it's coming to the PlayStation 4 with a lot of improvements. All of the DLC is included. Experience the infamous Assassinate the Führer mission, take the fight to new fronts in 3 additional challenge levels, and hunt your foes with a variety of iconic weapons including the Lee Enfield MK3, M1D Garand, M1D, and M1 Carbine. The game also introduces a photo mode where you can pause and step through the action frame by frame, position the camera, apply a filter, adjust the lighting, and take stunning photos to share with the community, including your epic X-ray kill camera shots. A photo mode in Sniper Elite is fantastic. You can take a lot of cool pictures with that, so that's great. Also has remastered visuals, as any remaster will. Modernized renderer and post-processing effects, enhanced level geometry, textures, and particles, plus a revamped lighting system and 4K support transports you to the front line and makes it look more realistic than ever. And also, it's including new playable characters for the first time. Play the campaign and multiplayer modes as one of 7 new characters from Rebellion Zombie Army series. And lastly, you've got multiplayer and co-op in there as well. Gather your squad and compete in 7 uniquely tense multiplayer modes, now for up to 16 players online. You got Deathmatch, Distance King, Dog Tag, Harvest, and Capture the Flag. So Sniper Elite V2 coming to PlayStation 4 tomorrow. Unfortunately, kind of hefty on the price side, $34.99. Might recommend you guys to wait on a sale for that one. $35 for a game that is relatively old at this point is kind of a hard sell. And it's not like this one is packed to the brim with content and updates. So that's just my 2 cents, and it's not like Sniper Elite is this world-renowned franchise that a lot of people are super invested into, so I could see it going on sale pretty quickly. Once it's down, say, south of $20 would be a really good buy at that price point. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, a lot of big game releases coming tomorrow. A Plague Tale Innocence looks awesome. I really hope that game pans out well because it's a first impression from Asabo Studio, and it would really keep Focus Home Interactive on the same path. We'll see how it turns out. Rage 2, the reviews are already out, being received a little bit mixed, a little bit positively, but I think for you open world buffs out there, there's gonna be a lot to like out of that game. Figment looks great. Darkwood for you horror fans is gonna be fantastic, and Sniper Elite V2 coming to the PlayStation 4 tomorrow. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.